Hey, sports fans, how y'all doing? Welcome to Vic Lombardi Sports on YouTube. We're going to visit with a good friend of mine and a very good friend of Peyton Manning's here momentarily. You've heard the news by now that Peyton Manning will announce his retirement officially tomorrow at Broncos headquarters at 11 a.m. So, with that in mind, let's bring in a fella who was instrumental, and when I say instrumental, he'll explain the rest, in Peyton Manning arriving and signing with the Denver Broncos. My good friend John Lynch, who's out on the West Coast in San Diego these days. John, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, Vic. How are you doing?
Very good. So does this news surprise you at all?
Well, this one, he was extremely quiet on this one. I talked to him a number of times over the last month, but my policy with him has always been that I'm an ear that's always available, but only will engage when he wants to. And so I never said anything about it. We talked on numerous occasions. He did not bring up a word about what his intentions were. So I think in my mind, what he was doing, I received a text last night, just saying, please keep it confidential, but tomorrow I'll be announcing. And, I think what he did is like everything he does. If you go to dinner with Peyton Manning, he's thorough in his preparation. He wants to make sure he's at the right spot. And so I'm sure he was incredibly thorough. I think he kept this one closest only the people involved were the people that are absolutely closest, his family, to him, and I think he made a great decision. As I told him, he's going out on top. He's going out as one of the best to ever do it in every way you want to quantify it: longevity, excellence. He's one of the great players I ever played against, and he's a tremendous friend, and I'm really happy for him.
You know, it's funny. I saw Peyton about 10 days ago, John. He was at a hotel in the DTC area, and he was sitting amidst a mountain of helmets and jerseys, and he was doing these autograph signings. You know how you're apt to do after a Super Bowl. You sign all these items, and every player does it. So he's sitting there, and he's got his headphones on, and I walk up to him, and I just said, any decision yet? And he laughed. He goes, the only decision I have is sitting right in front of me. He's got all these items to sign. What do you think took so long? When I say so long, I mean, it wasn't long. I mean, it was 4 weeks after the Super Bowl. But why not make the decision immediately after the Super Bowl? What was he weighing in those weeks?
Well, I really believe, and I think anybody who has gone through it, I went through it myself. You have so much fun playing this game, and he's truly one of the people. I think that's where our friendship took off, was at Pro Bowls, because there was a genuine love for the game. We couldn't get enough of it. We talked about it. We lived it. We breathed it. And so I think when that's the case, even though in everyone else's mind, the scenario, I think, is pretty clear. You say, okay, this is the time to go. You're going on top, something rare for someone at his level, especially, to be able to do it. Doesn't happen in many occasions at all. And while to everyone else, everything looks like this is the only decision, to you, you're saying, wait, I just won a Super Bowl. I can still play. Why not do it? I'm, despite what everyone thinks, I'm fairly healthy. And so I think you just weigh that, and you want to make sure that it's right. And as I mentioned earlier, everything he does is very calculated. Preparation has always been his go-to, and he basically out-prepares everyone. So I'm sure this was no different. He wanted to look at every angle, every option. And, I know that in talking to him throughout this season, he really wanted to just, pardon the cliche, but live in the moment and not get swallowed up by all these, things that could potentially happen in the future. Is this his last year? He really just wanted to play this year with everything he had, and then was going to make a decision after the season. So I think while a lot of people felt like he had a decision made, I know that he didn't. And I think right down to the end, he didn't.
Before we talk about the future, let's really quick recap the past. And this is on the web, John, so you can use the word damn instead of darn. We can say whatever we want on the web. It's unbelievable. No FCC restrictions here. But anyway, I need to ask you, point blank again, when Peyton Manning was a free agent, and I still claim the biggest free agent in the history of the NFL, not many teams They had like 8 teams bidding $20 million per season for this guy, coming off multiple neck surgeries. I don't care what anybody says. I know Reggie White's in that equation. People say Drew Brees. No free agent bigger name than Peyton Manning, and the Broncos landed him. What did you do to help the Broncos land Peyton Manning? Because I know you were in that room.
I didn't do a whole lot. Peyton and I had, as I previously said, we had struck up a friendship, and that friendship kind of intensified because I had the same neck surgery he had.
Yeah.
Now, he had 4 of them, but the original neck surgery was the same, and so I had done a lot of things, a lot of research to try to pull myself out of that, to get back, the feeling in your fingers, all that kind of stuff. And so, I think I was a valuable resource, and through that process, our friendship kind of, we became better friends. And so when the free agent process before Denver was ever involved, I had become kind of a sounding board for him to run things by. And then when Denver became a target, I'm close with John Elway as well. And so it was a natural that John said, hey, help me out with this one. And, I'll never forget being in that men's grill. They were looking for a place where they could go and just be quiet. And I think John handled it tremendously.
So you went to Cherry Hills, because nobody's going to bother you guys at Cherry Hills.
Yeah, upstairs in the men's grill. I was out to dinner with my family. There was an air of secrecy with that whole thing. So I was out to dinner with my family, and John said, "Hey, please stop by Cherry Hills on the way home." And I walked up, and there was John and Peyton sitting on a couch, deep in conversation. They were kind of one on a chair, one on a couch over in this area, and I. Looking around, and there's John Fox and Brandon Stokely in, kind of the back room. So I went and hung with those guys because I could tell those guys were in deep and great conversation. And we just stayed there, which I thought I told my family I'll be home in a half hour. 2 hours later, they're still talking. And, finally they came back over, and I could just see that there was a connection that those two had made. I kept saying, look, those two were talking on a level that I'm not familiar with. Brandon, John Fox wasn't familiar with, but they did a great job. I think they felt comfortable, and John was very clear with the opportunity that Peyton had, and the fact, most importantly, that it became very clear to Peyton that John Elway was about one thing, and that was winning a championship. And, it took a little while, but they got it done. And so, it was fun to be a part of.
Last question, Johnny, and I'll let you be. You obviously went into broadcasting, and that was an easy transition, as well-spoken as you are. Peyton Manning can do just about anything. And this is what's unbelievable about this guy. You know how detail-oriented he is. Whatever he transitions into, he'll work at it just like he worked at every game plan every week. What would you like to see him do, and what do you think his next move will be in his career?
I would love to see him become involved in ownership at the highest level, because I just think
he's got the cash, Johnny.
Well, he doesn't have that kind of cash.
That's true. They're all billionaires now.
But he's got those too. So he's going to need that. Here's what I do know is that whatever he chooses to do, he'll be just like he was as a player, one of the best to ever do it, because he's going to outwork people. He's got such a bright mind. I think that he's been such a ambassador, such a tremendous ambassador, transcendent, really for what he's done for this game. And so for him to stay involved, he could broadcast, and he's going to get, believe me, he's going to get a ton of money thrown at him to broadcast. And, it's just a matter of whether he wants to. I happen to think he's got bigger things in mind, and we'll see. Now that all has to materialize, and it's going to be fun to watch to see what his next chapter. But I think right now it's about celebrating one of the best players to ever play the game, and I'm privileged to have played against him, to watched him as a fan, to have broadcasted his games on so many levels. It was just a blast, like everyone else, to watch him compete.
I think you speak for everybody. Brock Osweiler, stepping into those shoes, he already has in some respects this season. How do you think he'll do if in fact the Broncos sign him? Because that's not a done deal just yet.
Yeah, I think it's he had what a great opportunity, first of all, to learn under Peyton Manning, to take his time to hone his craft and learn from the best. I think was incredible. He still got John Elway around as as a confident, a guy who really has believed in him from the start. And it's just he kind of had to do it in little steps is the perfect scenario. And Brock has had that. He even got to jump in the midst of a playoff race and start a ton of games. I know he wanted to see it to the end, and Peyton came back in, so I'm sure that was tough. But it was a great way to prepare yourself to be a starter. I think the one thing that I saw that a lot of people saw is that he really fits into this offense, and they're gonna be able to do some things that they couldn't even do with Peyton. I think he's got to raise his game to a higher level on a more consistent basis. But I think he's got the tools, and he's got the experience of having been a starter. So I think it's the logical thing to do, and I expect it to happen.
Johnny, thank you so much. You've been very good to us in this whole process, and I remember 4 years ago when this all began, how, like I said, instrumental you and the likes of Brandon Stokely were. So enjoy your time at San Diego. I'll see you later this month, my man. I want 2 strokes aside, okay?
I like it, Vic. All right, we'll see you, buddy.
See you,
Bye-bye.
Johnny. That's John Lynch on with us, who, again, back when Peyton Manning was a free agent and making those visits city to city, it helped to see a familiar face. And he came here to this city and saw the likes of John Lynch and then saw Brandon Stokely, who's a former teammate. Let's see if we can get Brandon on the line. He's teeing off at 10 a.m. this morning. I never like to interrupt guys when they're teeing off, so I want to do it before he gets off on the course here. I know I've been there before. Let's make this phone call here and see what Brandon has to say. Brandon, I think Brandon has suspected all along that this was going to happen, but just like John, he wasn't going to speak for his friend. He was going to keep it under his hat. He was never going to take away from such an announcement like this. So let's call Brandon and see what happens here, if he hasn't teed off already. Yeah, I'll let him know he's live. Don't worry, Delia. Don't want him saying anything in it. Let's see. Call him Brandon Stokely. In his case, I probably wouldn't answer either.
Call has been forwarded to an automatic.
Yeah. He called back earlier. I bet you he was calling back to this number. That's that little.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was him calling back.
So if he calls back, I'll just let me text him right there. Call that number again if you have a chance before tee off. But in the meantime, why don't we answer a few questions? Because one thing you heard from John Lynch during the course of that interview, and I don't know if you guys caught on to that, and I've been saying this, I've been preaching this for a long time. Most players' ambitions upon retirement are broadcasting, coaching, or just hanging out, right? Doing nothing. Peyton Manning, if you know him well, you know what he wants to do. He wants to own a team, at least delve into ownership in some capacity. He doesn't have the billions of dollars that's necessary to rightfully own a team, but he can take part in a team. He can be a minority owner in a team. He already is. He and his wife have a minority stake in the Memphis Grizzlies. So I could see him somehow taking that approach to life after football, doing some broadcasting on the side, but down the road, ownership. And the reason I say ownership is because he's the kind of guy that wants control. He doesn't want to go work for a team that doesn't do it his way. He wants it done his way. He's very meticulous. So if he's going to own a team, have a partial ownership stake, and then help run that team, you got to have the backing of the owner. And if he's the owner, that's all the backing you really need. And in honor of Peyton Manning, why don't we go ahead and switch hats right now? This will go down in history in Denver, Colorado. Peyton Manning had 4 seasons. Think about this for a second. Think about what he's done here in 4 seasons. And I know that it did not end with the most joyous of relationships because he was sort of pushed out as much as he stepped out. 4 seasons, 4 division championships, 4 straight playoff appearances, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl ring for a guy coming off multiple neck surgeries. How can you tell me that is not the greatest free agent signing in the history of the NFL. Questions on YouTube coming in right now from our chat room. Do you think Brock will sign the $40 million contract? I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I think he'd be silly not to, but I need to know the specifics of that contract. How much of that is guaranteed? And you always hear these reports about what's guaranteed and what's not. Not until after the contract is signed, sealed, and delivered do we get the real specifics on what's guaranteed. A lot of it's fake, okay? A lot of it's just numbers thrown out there, multiple years, incentives, bonuses, blah, 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 blah. I want to know what's guaranteed, and I'm sure he wants to know what's guaranteed. Everybody wants Brock Osweiler to sign for no matter what. You know, if there's a team out there that's ready to play ball and throw $18 million at him, like Sam Bradford got, then, man, you'd have to take a long, hard look. But I think Brock Osweiler knows deep down that this is the best situation for him. He comes back to a team where he succeeded in large when he took over for Manning. He's got a ready-built championship defense. I mean, what more do you want? If your choices are Cleveland, Houston, or Denver, are you kidding me? I mean, there's no denying which team is closer to a championship. So it depends on what he's looking for first, what his agents are looking for first. And I think Brock Osweiler will be the quarterback of this team. We've said this for a month now. Peyton's going to leave, Brock's going to stay. And we tear this apart. We look at it through a prism because as D-Day approaches, that's what we always do. But I really believe that Brock Osweiler will be the quarterback. Another question. Do you think the Broncos will draft a quarterback in the first round? Not if they re-sign Osweiler. No. Nope. Not happening. Where do you rank Manning among the best? Someone says he ranks number one. Man, that's a tough question. That's a very difficult question. I personally would not rank Peyton Manning the best quarterback in the history of the game. He's top 3 in my book, but it's very debatable who your top 3 are. I look at the position and I say John Elway because he could do more. When I say do more, he could use his feet. He could beat you with many different weapons, and he did it late in his career. If you gave me one game, one quarterback, I'll take John Elway. That's just me. The game was much different back then. It was played differently. Defenses had a little more leeway than they do today. I think Tom Brady's in that conversation, obviously. Joe Montana's in that conversation. That is the most debatable thing you're going to hear here for the next few weeks is where does he rank among the all-time best? I just think when you're top 3, you're among the all-time best. Next question that's been raised is where will Peyton Manning retire? Well, he's going to retire in Denver tomorrow, 11 o'clock press conference in Dove Valley. So he's going to retire as a Bronco. But when he's ready to step foot in the Hall of Fame, which he will do instantly, will he step foot as a member of the Broncos or as a member of the Colts? It's a great question. Do we have that video ready to go? My interview with Jim Irsay? Oh, you can play it. I could play it from here? Go to your YouTube page. I'm going to my YouTube page. All right. So I asked that question. I asked that question to, here it is right here. Jim Irsay. Play that darn video, would you? Listen to this. You want to see it? Jim, do you want Peyton to retire as a Colt?
I do. We communicated after the game, and I was so excited about him having a chance at another ring. And I told him it'd be an honor for him to come into Indy and retire as a Colt. And that kind of special feelings in the air as well. I don't know what Peyton's going to do, but I know, hopefully we're going to have a few Colts coming in the Hall of Fame. I know Marvin Harrison is going to be getting in.
Tell us. All right. Ooh, look at Jerry. Look at Jera and those teeth. What's up, Jera? Let's come out of that. Anyway, you heard Jim Irsay there. It's funny. It's almost ironic. He cut Peyton Manning, and now he wants to bring him back to retire as a Colt. I can't wait to hear what Peyton has to say about that. He's going to retire as a Bronco because that's where he'll be tomorrow. He's not flying to Indy to retire. He's making his retirement announcement here in Denver. So that answers your question. Do you think Malik will sign with the Broncos? Well, now they suddenly have $16 million in cap space, okay? $16 million in cap space available because that money's freed up. Most of that's going to go to Brock Osweiler. I don't think they have enough to sign Malik Jackson, not for the number he desires. I've said this from the onset. I said this as soon as the season ended. I think Malik Jackson will play for another team because he's going to warrant a big figure, a big number. And I still haven't moved off that. I'd be surprised, pleasantly, if Malik Jackson returns to Denver. Do you think the Broncos will re-sign Danny Trevathan? I don't think so. I think they like what they see in Todd Davis as a potential replacement. Again, if Danny Trevathan can make bigger money in Chicago or Atlanta or wherever, he's probably going to go make that paycheck. And that doesn't bother me one bit. I've always been of the opinion, man, go make your money. Go make your cash. Who do you think fits best for zone schemes, considering free agent running? Man, it's amazing. You guys are moving right on. This was supposed to be a Peyton Manning type web hit. Everybody's talking about the other pieces that are in place for the Broncos. I want to sort of focus this on Peyton Manning and what he meant to this franchise. Because, listen, I've said this before. What Peyton Manning did here is so rare because there aren't many players around the league who not only change a team with their talents, but change a culture. And you can bring coaches in and general managers in. I know John Elway came in and he helped change the culture from top down. But you need a player in that locker room also to help change that culture. And that's exactly what 18 did. Because he held his teammates accountable. And he did it every year he was here. Holding them accountable is so important to the success of any team. And he did it from the get-go. How much work they put in, reps, everything. Now, it didn't end in a dreamy fashion. He had to basically share the position with Brock Osweiler. But he, stealing the line from John Fox, raised all boats. He raised all boats. And that's all you can ask for out of that position. How many players in the NFL can truly raise? And I'm sort of mad at myself that it took so long to watch the film. Did you watch it, Adayo? Have you seen Creed?
Yep, watched it
When did you watch it?
a couple weeks ago.
What'd you think?
I thought it was good.
I thought it was good. I thought it was great. I mean,
I didn't think it was great.
I thought it was great.
good.
Let me tell you why it was great.
Why?
Rocky 1 and 2 alone are the best. Okay, we all know this. Rocky 3 got a little gimmicky. Rocky 4, all right, come on. Rocky 5, 6, I don't know what the hell happened after. And so I was a little burnt out on Rocky shows because it was basically Sylvester Stallone, his family album, him aging. This was different. This was a true storyline that I can... And the reason it was different is because I'm watching Creed and I'm looking at Sly and I'm feeling like, God, he's so old, you know? You saw his face. He's so old. We all get... Look at my face. I'm old. We're all old. But it hit home that it's a young man's game. And you can apply that to this whole Peyton Manning situation. He got old right in front of us. He got old in that 17-month period where it was much tougher to stay healthy. He got old in a hurry. It's a young man's game. But you can get old gracefully, too. Sly Stallone did it with that movie. Peyton Manning's doing it right now. I still think it's unfair for us to ask him to retire because it's not our lives, it's his. I'm glad that he came to those terms. But I'm wondering, and John Lynch hinted at this, I'm wondering if he put feelers out to other teams here in the last couple of weeks and didn't get the response he wanted. You know, contacting those teams that needed a quarterback and really didn't get that confirmation that he wanted. And that's what pretty much led him to this decision. Again, greatest free agent signing in the history of the NFL. How do I get to it now? Here, I'll get to it right here. Never mind. I still think this is the greatest achievement in the history of Peyton Manning's career. What he did here. Let's see if I can pull it off here. This is pretty cool that I can actually pick my own video.
Yeah, just pull it up and I can push it live.
Yeah, maybe I can do it if I spell it right. This, to me, remains the greatest piece of video in the history of Peyton Manning. All right. This is not the full thing, but it's good enough.
You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Finally tonight, we've seen
Get
those
this guy off.
ads
He's
touting
gonna go to it
NFL
right now.
stars
Just a
as
second.
humanitarians who
Hold on a
devote
second.
countless.
He's gonna.
Yeah,
I'll
he's
just
going to
mute this
set
guy.
it up because I can't get it. But this, to me, this is Peyton Manning.
Go ahead
in
and
his
make it big
essence.
screen. Make it big screen.
Here we go.
Get rid of that advertisement.
Roll it.
Helps to have an adult around.
All right.
That's why Peyton Manning takes time out to volunteer with local youth groups.
You guys ready to play some football? Yeah! Put our hands in. All right, we're going to have fun. We're going to encourage each other. Teamwork on 3. 1, 2, 3. Teamwork!
Peyton uses football to teach valuable lessons of communication.
Check. Watch the sail. Pink. Watch the blitz. Brown, 55, razor. Shot! Open. Get open. What? You suck. All right, let's go. Get back in here. Let's go. Except you.
I still laugh.
I can't even look at you. You know what? Go sit in the portal for 20 minutes. That's right. You stay in there.
There's no substitute for the hands-on guidance a mentor can provide.
Then you just push it a little further, and you should hear a click.
Why don't we just use your keys?
I told you, I forgot them. Cops, every man for himself.
Spend time with your kids so Peyton Manning doesn't.
Spend time with your kids so Peyton Manning doesn't. That's awesome. That's one of my favorite videos. Almost as good as this. Let me pull this one. Oh, man, how do I get that over there? Yeah, but, huh? How do I get it? How do I get something from my internet over to that side of the screen?
Oh, just grab that tab up there and drag it over. Or
Okay.
grab the whole screen and bring it over.
All right, let's see if I can do it. Hold on a second. Let's see. Oh, there it
There
is.
you
Boom, boom, boom. Man, I got my stuff. I'm a technical wizard. I really am. All right, now let's see if I can find it. Somebody's calling here. You're getting a phone call from somebody. No, actually, it's a comment. All right. I had something pinned to my... Oh, there it is.
Okay.
I'm going to leave you with this, sports fans. I'm going to leave you with this. We're just going to roll it over and over and over again.
Make it big.
Make it big. Make it big. Okay, it's not...
Move the whole screen over.
I'm trying to, dude. It's
Yeah,
not
right.
moving over.
There you go, right there.
Nope, it's not going.
You want me to do it?
Come and get it.
All right.
Come and get it. Come and get it. This is really ticking me off that you can't handle this. I thought this internet stuff would be a lot easier. It's just not.
See, this is going to go like that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Make this smaller like this.
All right, turn it up now. Can you turn up the volume? Where are you going? Where are you going with this?
Over here. Hold on. I want to bring the whole thing on this screen.
Let's go. People are watching.
It's worth the wait. It's definitely worth the wait.
Manning Dance finds the best. All right, we're going to leave you with this. We're going to play. Let's just play this over and over for the next. Let's play this for the next 2 minutes.
Why is there no audio, though? There's no audio on it.
There should be. Should be audio. Is there something that says turn off audio?
There's got to be. Click on it. See if it.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. I got it. There it is. All right, sports fans, thanks for watching Vic Lombardi Sports on YouTube. You heard John Lynch. We tried to get hold of Brandon Stokely, but he teed off before we got to him. But it's okay. You got your news. We discussed Peyton Manning and what he means and what he meant to Denver and the NFL. Headed to the press conference tomorrow. Probably won't be wearing this 5 head when I show up there. But this is in honor of the sheriff. See you later. Go big with it.